Few things and a couple conversations, couple emails, I realized that there's a misconception about what men want from women or what women think men want from them. And I figured that, I jot some things down and run it by you guys, what I came up with as kind of an overall guideline of what real men want from women. And if you should so happen to never encounter this kind of person, then maybe we have to revisit locations and the type of person you're attracted to and things of that. There's so many different variables, but right now we're going to talk about what men really want from women in a relationship. So, when we think about that, the first thing we want to immediately eliminate is what you already think you know about what men want. And often when we do kind of embrace this fictitious notion and we keep that embedded in ourselves, a lot of resentment and anger towards men build up, and hopelessness and doubt and wondering if you ever find a warm romantic relationship or a partnership that has such a strong union that it's something of fairy tale-ish means. And we never really get that because we already build frustration and we look at the past and we hold on to things that are not important, and we don't really try to understand what real good men really want. And yes, real good men exist, and if you don't believe this, that says more about you than it does about the men. I'll start off with the number one priority is men want honest communication. They do not want to feel like mind readers, or that they have to figure out what every look means, or you say one word and you mean something else. It's a silly game that men do not want to play. It's cute, but nobody really wants to deal with that. The fact of the matter is, a man wants a woman who is secure and confident, and he wants someone who is about her own business. She has her own friends, she has her own life, but she brings something to the table. She doesn't play these games and he has to figure it out, or, oh, I said this, but I meant this. It's not high school. Grown men want grown women, and they want her to be active, independent, and have her own interests. And he wants her to respect his as well. He wants to be in a manipulation-free relationship, meaning he doesn't want these games where he's a mind reader and you make a signal and he has to assume what it means, and when he gets it wrong, you get upset. The reality is you set yourself up for that. If you want him to figure these things out without you telling him, you're only hurting yourself. Don't blame him because he doesn't fall into your manipulation. A good man will not accept that. And then when he doesn't accept that, you can't blame him for not accepting that. No one wants to be on the receiving end of any games, neither do you. He wants growth. He wants a woman who has personal responsibility and ownership of wrongs. But at the same time, when he does wrong, there is no abandonment, bailing out, criticizing. There is open and honest communication about it. A man really wants fidelity and commitment. And despite the fact that, social media and mass media, television, and, all these other means of entertainment kind of paint pictures of what males really are, and a lot of males do fall under that. But we're talking about men. We're talking about good, mature men. Men that you would want your child to be like. So I'll tell you, as a man, fidelity is a must. A man doesn't want to be with a woman who's always talking about some celebrity, how cute this guy is, or, oh my God, that's my baby daddy and he can get it, and all this other silliness that women do. They don't want that no more. That's childish. Keep your childishness with your friends. Men don't want to be around that. They don't want you to have the roaming eye, the disrespectful look. They don't want that. Men, and a real man would not do that to you. A real man would never do that in front of you. A real man would honor the relationship. If a man is doing that, then you need to question his position, because that's not a man's thing. That's not a male thing. There's no genetic disposition that warrants men to be cheating. That's false. If you believe that, then I'll sell you a bridge, because I'm selling them 2 for $5. So whatever the case is. Women think all men want is sex, and the reality is that it's not true. Although we all as humans would like to have sex because sex is wonderful. But that's not it. Men really want a whole, full relationship with somebody that ultimately, when he looks back, his child could be proud to call mom, stepmom, whatever the case is. Doesn't just want someone, when a man is in this position of relationships. Now remember, there are some people who want to be single. We're not talking about them. We're talking about people who bring something to the table in hopes of union or partnership. If you just want to have sex, we're not talking about you. We're talking about people in relationships. So there's always different variables. There's always different people. We can't talk about everybody on the planet, but we're talking about an overall consensus of what men want from women in a relationship. Don't get it mixed up. Men do want to be acknowledged and appreciated as much as a woman does, and that is not a female trait. Men would like to feel acknowledged. Men would like to be praised at times too. Not worship, but praise. There's a total difference. A man doesn't need a woman under him. He needs a woman beside him. He doesn't need you following him. He needs you on his side and at times to help push him forward. A real man is not ignorant to the fact of a woman's greatest strengths. We actually love that and we want that in our lives. We don't want to feel like we're dragging someone forward. No, that's counterproductive. If anything, we honor the fact that you're a lot stronger than society will admit, and real men will acknowledge and admit that. Going back to the mind reading thing, please don't assume because he's a man that he automatically knows everything you like sexually, because his last partner and you are totally different. Your last partner and him, totally different. People have different things that they like, and unless you verbalize, you guide, or you guys come up with some way of communication, don't expect him to figure you out right away, because although people talk trash, it's really not that type of party. A lot of times you'll face disappointment because you did not communicate. You just waited and assumed that he would figure it out, and he's just not going to figure it out just like that. I don't care what they advertise on social media. It just doesn't work that way. Ask him what he thinks. Ask him what he feels. That's very important, because a lot of times men don't get that. Let him talk. Now that's big. Let him talk. Listen. Do not interrupt and don't judge him. Because sometimes when you inject your opinions in the middle of him saying something, it automatically shifts the level of the conversation, so to speak, where if it was a basic conversation and you keep injecting it and then his voice rises and your voice rises and something that was so small ends up elevating to something so big, and whether you agree or not, he should be able to speak. Vice versa. But right now this video is about what it's about, and of course we'll revisit other ones. Don't expect him to just be the stereotypical male. It's not his job all the time to figure out where you guys are going to go hang out, where you're going to go out for the night. It's not his job to pick every place. You don't have to be the stereotypical cave woman. You can inject your opinion. Real men like that. They don't want you to just shut up and accept everything, because there's things you don't like. Don't wait for him to always make a plan and then shoot his plan down. Instead, come up with an idea. Men like that. It's your job as much as it is his. You both in a relationship. Two little small things, no matter what you feel, his relationship with his friends and his family is his. Try not to embarrass him in front of them, and of course he should never do the same. Tell him what you think, what you like, what you want. Tell him what you expect. He's not a mind reader. As long as you remember these things, I think it'll be totally fine. Men out there who are watching the video, I know that you agree with me on a lot of these points. Excuse me. It is also your job to convey these messages. It is not her job to just figure this out. The best relationship are those that have strong communication. Don't feel because you're a man that you're above this type of conversation. If so, prepare to be single for a long time. Good luck, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.